For each project, one has to have a thematic interest in some part of the world. And then one needs to find a material through which to think about that, whether it's a charcoal drawing in the Wozzeck performances or an ink drawing in Lulu or the turning pages as in this Waiting for the Sibyl. And then you say within that, what are the things that medium suggests? And that starts to give a theme, not just an image bank, but also a thematic shape to what you are investigating. And that's what I mean by thinking in the material. Thoughts at the edge of your mind come towards the center. I keep a collection of phrases that I find from different poets, from novels. As I read, I make a note of particular phrases that strike me. And Way or Tears struck me as, particularly at this time of the pandemic, as the range of tears that we have, which we need to weigh all of. And it's both obviously people who've lost their lives through the pandemic, but it's also all the other damage, the secondary damage of the pandemic. The triptych Way or Tears is very connected to both the sculpture in the exhibition and to the tapestries. The tapestries are always made as collages, mixtures of maps and paper cutouts. And then these different elements of a collage get sort of welded together through the process of weaving, where the different surfaces become a single surface. And the painting, Way or Tears, worked on a similar basis. Initially as a small sketch with the torn paper cut out of the shapes of the figures. And those figures, in fact, had come from sculptures made many years earlier. The glyphs start as a kind of shadow or a silhouette of an image. They're also obviously connected to the idea of an image being a word, like a hieroglyph. In some way, the glyphs are closer to an idea of an Eastern form of writing in which something is both a word, but it's also a series of calligraphic marks. The movement of the artist's hand or the writer, the scribe's hand, is important in it. So it's a real lack in the Roman alphabet that gestural element of making meaning has been taken out. There they kind of change meaning as they shift from being a hand-sized object to a medium-sized bronze on a tablet, which one can still make a procession of figures in the way that before you have a procession of text, these are much more a human procession of figures, even if the object is a tree or a leaf and not a person. If you're drawing a procession walking towards you, then it's the same 8 people in the front of the procession that are always. Whereas if it's a lateral movement, then each person has a new presence and a new possibility of passing. So that's one of the reasons for the procession, a kind of a theme and variations. What are all the different silhouettes that a person can have, burdened or unburdened, naturalist or completely abstracted. There's very often a migration of images in the work. Something will start as a sketch, as a piece of paper. It will turn into a sculpture. The sculpture may become an animated drawing, which turns back into an etching. So there's a migration of the physical images, of the shapes of the figures, the characters, but always with some hope of a new transformation as they shift across medium. But they are like commedia dell'arte characters, sitting, waiting in the green room to be called on stage to perform some other drama. They're always there in the service of something else.